Okay, so I was talking about right here, right now. This is Wimbledon. This is a tournament that you really want. This is your favorite tournament, and again, there's 5 days. Like, you know, what can you do to, like, just really focus? For me, my approach as a tennis player would be, first of all, after I got my family obligations and everything into order, like, I personally would sit down at night and go, what's my intention? And, like, and what really kind of works is kind of the way I'm sitting right now in a, what we call here in America Indian style. I don't even know if that's it's cross leg actually. Yeah, because I don't know if the Indian style is even politically correct. But yeah, just sitting there and just sitting up straight, which I very rarely do, except when I'm sitting in this position, and just really just breathe out the tension and just go, this is a really good way to center, like, how do I want to really approach this? And you might, like, have all these thoughts coming up, and thoughts come up like a speedboat. It's so funny, like, you almost don't even notice, but we kind of, thoughts and doubts and things come up, and we jump on them like a speedboat, and before you know it, like, creating this reality, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard, how are you going to do this, blah, 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 like, you could be like, I'm going to do great, I'm going to win Wimbledon, and something comes up like, how are you going to do that? You got to work on this, you got to work on that, and then before you know it, like, you're on that speedboat off on that, you're like, oh, you're right, how am I going to do this? But, just take a moment, really just sit yourself on the floor and just feel yourself supported, just under your sit bone, as they call it. Just feel yourself really supported by the ground and by the earth, actually. And not to get all airy-fairy, but I'm sitting on the ground, that's why I'm talking about earth. But I am actually supported. So if I wasn't feeling supported, I know, like, I'm going to focus, like, hey, you know what? I feel great. Something's holding me up. Something is holding me up, and that's just really the truth. Like, I am supported. Every step of the day, I'm supported, So how can I support myself? Just by knowing that universally, like, you can get into a whole bunch of things, like, what supports the earth? The earth is supported somehow, in the universe, and it's supporting me because I'm sitting on it. It's supporting me. It's not shaking or whatever. It's solid. And so I'm feeling a real sense of support. And that brings in, for me, like, a sense of power. But you'll notice, like, when you're sitting here going, how do I want to come into this? How do I really want to come into this? Like, just really listen. And you're going to have maybe, like, a lot of resistance coming up as you're sitting here, like, this is boring, like, everything will be coming up, and, like, oh, I forgot to do this, oh, is the oven on, oh, I was supposed to wash the dishes, oh, I'm not saying that's what you would say, but those are the kind of thoughts that come up. And then maybe your mind will go to something else. You know what my father said last week really pissed me off, and then you'll be in that for 5 minutes. But just kind of see if you can just detach for a moment and just see the thoughts come up without hooking into them and, like, being on that speedboat, the speedboat with the thoughts, and then, creating that reality, and then going, like, just sit in the reality of, I want to come into Wimbledon. I'm poised to win no matter who's in front of me. I find a way. All options are open. I see all openings. I see all options. I make successful plays. Every play that I make, it works, and I really stay on top of my game. And just notice, like, even too, like, when you're saying something, like, if anything comes up, like what I just said, like, every point I play, like, every point you play is going to work, just notice that too, like, but don't hook into it, just notice it, just like, I'm focused, and I adjust to every single adjustment in order to win. It's wonderful people always waving. This crazy girl who's sitting on the sidewalk here at a really nice park talking to Roger Federer, one of her favorite people in the world. Yay! So anyway, I'm kind of BSing right now, but I just wanted to say, just sit there and notice that, and if you're not used to doing this, a hell of a lot of resistance is going to come up to you even sitting here and doing this. Like, if you can sit as well, a good thing to do is really just practice, like, bringing yourself back into the moment, because all these thoughts are going to come up and stuff like that, and all this resistance, like, why am I sitting here listening to this crazy girl, you know, sitting here doing this, I don't know what the hell she's going to have me do, but anyway, so just sitting here, as well is really, really a good way to have those little demons, provide battleground to, like, kick out those demons that come up, you know, or those opposing forces, inner critic, whatever you want to call it, because they will come up and it will resist, and you'll be ready to get up. But see if you can just sit here and just notice what pops up, and then bring yourself back into the moment. Like, you might get lost off in a thought, but just bring yourself back. And a good way to do that too, that is a little strange, is to focus on the breath going into the nose. Just only focus on the feeling of the air coming into the nose and going out, coming into the nose and going out, coming into the nose and going out. All right, I didn't mean to get all, like, spiritual and yogic on you, but I found these things to, like, really work. And they do take patience. There's a lot of opposition that comes up when you try to do these things, but you notice a really a good sense of grounding, clarity, and power, and empowerment, of a sort of centering, self-centering, returning to yourself. Like, I can do this. I'm ready to do this. I am ready, you know? And I'm going to handle anything that comes flying my way. And before you know, you have your tennis racket and, like, in the moment. So, with your little string. Oh my God. Oh, Roger Federer. Thank you for putting up with me. So, yeah, there's a really good term called, in basketball, there's a term that they call clutch player. You know what I mean? Like, he's the clutch player. He will shoot the lights out, you know, and you may know what the clutch player is already. But the clutch player is that person, like, when the basketball game is in that fourth quarter, when it's down to the wire, when it's the championship game, it's like 7-game series, the best of 7-game series, and it's down to the wire. It's that fourth quarter, and there's 2 minutes left, and the other team is down by, 8 points or whatever, and that clutch player is the one who suddenly goes into what they call the zone. It's just like that realm of focus that people, when they see it, it mostly happens on this earth. To me, it mostly happens in sports when people are performing in their highest beauty and their highest purity. It's just that focus. It's when every single thing is in place, and that player can't miss a shot. Like, everything he does goes in. And so that clutch player is that person who takes the ball at the last second and makes that shot under really quickly and gets it in, So it's kind of like how are you going to engage the clutch player inside of you, like, in those, in any dark moments that might come up, just say it's that old theme again, and not to always bring up Rafa, but just say it's that old theme again with you and Nadal, and it's like this big epic match, and Roger Federer and Rafa, and Roger Federer being the greatest of all time, but Rafa being the one person who's been able to, like, pull out wins against him and stuff, even though most of them were on clay. I wasn't gonna get away with, like, saying that. Most of them were on clay. So, like, in those dark moments when you just, like, can you return to Roger Federer in his highest, most purest form? And again, that same Roger Federer, like the young Roger Federer who's like 13 years old on that train, traveling to that part of Switzerland, just for the love of tennis, that whatever that focus, that drive that Roger Federer wanted, and that all of that dreaming and wanting to win, and, like, look what Roger Federer created for himself massively. So you, Roger Federer, are you're a thinker, you're a believer, so it's not even to say that any of these videos are saying that you don't believe, like, obviously, clearly, you really believe in yourself, because look at what you created for yourself, nobody helps you, and that's, like, the beauty of tennis. It's just, like, you one person fighting through 6 people, you know? So anyway, of course my computer is dying, but I just wanted to say that, and if I need to add something else, I'll just make another video or whatever. But self-criticism, you know, just do me a favor and just look at the Roger Federer baby picture, and look at your daughter, Charlene Eva, Myla Rose. Look at your daughters and say, would you allow them to sit there and be caught in self-criticism, in this vicious cycle of self-criticism? You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You know, you made it to the semifinals. So what? You know, like, would you do that? And can you move yourself into self-forgiveness? I really realized, making all of these videos, that it's not just the media. Actually, it's you who've been holding yourself so terribly responsible and just crucifying. I believe, I don't know for sure, but that's my hunch. That self-crucifixion is toxic. It's poison, and bringing it into every match and carrying on from tournament to tournament all around, you know, it isn't going to be helpful. So, you know, really figure out a way to release that. And another good way to do that is, I'll probably make another video, but we hold actually a lot of tension in our jaw. And so if you can practice also, just as a start, like even sitting on the couch watching TV, just slacken your jaw. Slacken it. Let it slack. And notice if you start resisting that, like, oh my gosh, this is not classy, you know, or whatever. Like, slacken the jaw and reap the rewards of it. Just notice what's going on here. Like, notice, and you know, for me personally, I don't know, you know, maybe you process your stress a little different, but when I slacken my jaw, like, I can feel tension release. I can feel relief in here, and then I can feel relief in here and back here. And then I start to focus on just releasing tension in my neck. Like, I keep the jaw slacking and let the tongue go a little limp. And I know this stuff probably really sounds weird, but it freaking works. And it's total yogic practice. And yoga's been around for 4,000 years. And so it works. It works really, really well. It's very well studied, the body and the mind. So, you know, through yoga philosophy for many thousands of years. So I really trusted enough to say it in this video. But yeah, and just really keep the jaw slackened, and notice, like, if you resist, like, any thoughts come up or whatever, and just keep against those thoughts. Just keep clinging to, I'm gonna let my jaw slack. I'm gonna let my jaw slack, and just keep reaping the benefits, the rewards of this, and you'll feel like the tension loose. And just try that, like, at least, you know, like, once a day. That's a good way to start releasing some tension. You may feel like, I don't have any tension in here, but just try it and you'll notice, you know, you'll really notice. And then you'll want to graduate to, like, let me try to relax my neck really well, you know, let me roll my shoulders. And you may do the shoulder thing already in your daily stretching and exercise and stuff like that. But anyway, I know this video is probably going to die, but how do you want to go into Wimbledon? You know, how do you want to focus? How do you want to